Thank you, Jean. Thank you so much for having me here this evening. I haven't been in high school in at least 6 months, so it's pretty exciting. So thanks for coming up. But I don't know, are we going to ever hear what, first of all, we have to know what we're going to do with that $1,000 check, A, and B, what was your paper on? What I do with the $1,000. What I do at the library was what you won. I mean, doesn't everybody do the same thing at the library? Oh, okay. And what about your friend who tried to, beat you? What was her paper on? Oh, it's the same thing? Oh, but it'll be on the website. What is the website? Here, www, then what? Okay, I guess we'll write it down for me before I leave, because I'm going to read your paper, and then I'm going to give them my 2 cents. But I do love libraries. My mom, growing up, we always went to the library every Sunday after church. So we were allowed to check out books. Of course, my brother David checked out more than anybody else. But the only problem with libraries today, public libraries, is they always smell like dirty hair, because you can get to a library, it doesn't cost any money. So a lot of riffraff tend to hang out in public libraries. That's the only bad thing. That's all I'm saying about libraries. But I do remember when my brother's book came out, the first book, nothing made him, he was just the happiest when he saw his book in a library. That really meant more to him than it being in a bookstore. And I just remember being with him at that moment. And I was talking to Maureen earlier, I like the people that do the displays in the library. You might see a tree with a little bird's nest in it, and I always thought that'd be a really good guy to date. Someone who does those displays, staying up really late at night, talking about what are you going to do, a little umbrella with little raindrops and little apple and a little worm coming out of it, reading is fundamental. It'd be cute. Okay, so with that said, so yes, I do have a book. It's called I Like You, A Hospitality Under the Influence. And because I cook a lot and I entertain a lot, and I just thought, I want to do a book about something I know. So I just thought I would work on that. And it was important to me to have the book be very visual, because a lot of people can't read or they don't want to read. So I just figured if they can figure it out by looking at a picture, then I've done a good job, because yeah, half my family, they don't read. I mean, they can, but they don't want to. So it was important for me to do a very visual book. And I thought it would only be 158 pages, and I was so surprised that it turned out to be 308. So that surprised me. And I shot it all in my apartment in the summer, which is why half the food is melting. That was not planned at all. And I had a little budget, and I went a little over the budget. Just because of some of the mistakes that I made. What else is fascinating about that book? Let me see. Oh, I just did it in my apartment and just hired a few of my friends, and the process was amazing. I was telling Jennifer on the way up here, I forgot that somebody might purchase it, or that I'd see it in a store, a library, or anything. I was just doing it for the the craft of it. So I was pretty surprised that anyone bought it. What else can I say? Can anyone think of anything else? What else? Process. What else? What? Good question. How long did it take? I don't want to wake the man up over here, so I'm just going to direct it over here. There's a guy sleeping over there. It took about it took about a year and a half, which was very ambitious. So I couldn't really do anything else. It was just nonstop. But yeah, and then I tend to get bored with my projects. So a week before I turned it in, that's when I was done with it. So now I won't really I'll look at the book like this, because I don't want to look at it because I can't change it. You know what I mean? It's too late. It's already been printed and everything. So, I can see some of the mistakes that I made just because I bailed that last week. I was just done. I was overthinking things, So, I'm sorry? Oh, like in the children's chapter, I have a section on games for kids with a disability, for example, and I had some crutches, and the crutches were supposed to go next to a block that was about, crippled children, but it ended up somewhere else on the page, and no one else is going to notice it, but it just made me mad. Just a second, please. Hold on a second. Jane, you have a question?
No, I was just wondering if you wanted
okay.
to move on.
Anyway, so then when I was 7, no, okay. Jean, what she did was a lot of people had asked some questions and they wrote them down on an index card. And so we're going to sit over here and she's going to ask me some of the questions, right? And then I was going to do a craft. And then that way I'll talk about more of the book through the questions because I'm so bad at just getting up and just rambling. How are you guys doing, the video guys? All right? How old are you? 15? Oh, 18, I see. And you're all pretty much the same age? Oh, okay, interesting. All right. With that said, so you want to, because it's so weird to wear a dress and stand behind a podium. Are you ready? Are you ready, Jean? Are you ready? Okay, I'm calling you the right name, right? Huh? Jean, right? Oh, yeah, I was saying the right thing. Okay.
Okay, shall we sit down?
Okay, I'll talk to you later. I'll be over here. Oh, this is my water here, right? Oh, and I mic'd over here, too. Oh, good, because when in the lobby and I'm going to be signing books, I'm going to be selling these wands for $3. And the thing is they don't make these wands anymore. One company does, so I ordered like 300 of them. But I had one when I was a kid, and I still have it, and it's in the book. And then I found this company that still makes them. They're a little cheap, but so the star might come off, you know, the stick, but you just re-glue it or staple it. So you can have gold or silver, and they're $3. And so whenever you're at home, rather be writing a paper or making a chicken or something, if you just wave the wand over it, done. Or like if I walk in the kitchen with this and then I come out with a turkey, it's very impressive. They think I used witchcraft. Do you want to have the craft person come up first, and then do questions, or do you want to break it up and do it in the
Let's have a
middle?
craft person.
Okay, do I have a volunteer from the audience? How about you, right there? Take your time, we got all night. This is exciting being in this auditorium. I wish I had a dance routine. This is another craft I have, by the way. I don't know, a lot of you, butter's very expensive in New York. It's $5 a pound. So I buy Land O'Lakes because you can make that little card. I'm sure the 18-year-old knows about it. If you take an X-Acto knife and you cut around the butter box, the little squaw's holding, and then so it flips up, and then you cut her knees off of the other, side of the box of butter, and you stick it behind the little box that you cut out, then her knees look like her breasts. I know, juvenile, but it's funny. It's a good card to get in the mail. It doesn't cost anything extra. What's your name? Okay, Carrie is going to be helping me today. This is a craft I came up with to, like when you are entertaining, it's very tiring. And so I wanted to come up with something that would rejuvenate my eye sockets before my guest arrived. So, and I'm in the pantyhose. I don't wear them, but I like people who do wear pantyhose. So this is a craft. So all you really need for it is a pair of pantyhose. You need some navy beans, and then something to make eyes out of. So I'm going to have you make them. So I'll go ahead and open the package just because you're scissors, and it could be very dangerous. I talked to custodian Bob earlier, and a lot of scissor incidents were going down. Okay, so here you're going to violently cut off one of the legs of the pant. You wear little tights, little fishnets with shorts. Wow, okay. So then you've got one left, pretty pathetic, the Toady Fields stocking. Okay. Then you're going to fill that leg with these navy beans. You can buy them in the bag, or you can buy them, loose. Here, again. Okay. Now this isn't going to be easy. No. So you're going to fill that leg. How old are you? 18 also? 20. 20? Well, so you don't go to school here. You just hang out. You can't let go. Do you have a job?
Yes.
Where do you work?
I'm a waitress in Port Washington.
She's a waitress, and she has a 3-year-old. No. What kind of waitress are you?
Seafood.
Oh, my first job was at Red Lobster.
Really?
Yep, all you can eat. Are the people tip good there? Or yeah, okay. But you don't want to get stuck into waitressing. No. Okay, because it's easy, and because it's cash at night, it's a late crowd, so it's a good little job, but you got to get out of it as fast as you can. I learned a lot from waitressing. It helped me with my timing, organization. I just loved working with the public, which everybody at some point in their life should work with the public, because it's just a horrible, but you learn so much about people, characters. I bet you're a good waitress at the pace you're going. First time with the new hands? Okay. I just want to say I think you're doing a fantastic job. Stick with waitressing. Okay, let me see what you got going here. It's kind of weak. We're gonna work it, work it, work it. Okay, we'll put a few more here. I'm not taking over, I'm just gonna take over. Hold on a second. All right, hold on. You can use, all kinds of beans. You could use lentils, you can use dimes. Really, whatever you want. Okay. Think that's enough? How wide's your face? Oh, we're gonna need a lot more beans. No. All right, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, all right, so then you're gonna knot it off right there. You know what, we should go ahead and use the rest because I'm really just gonna throw them out when I get home. Last thing I need is a cockroach problem. Okay, there you go. We'll just ask Jean to pick these up later. No, just kidding. Okay, all right, yeah, you're gonna knot it off and then you're gonna loop it back around like this, like so, okay, get that camera on it. Hold on, okay, like that. See, reinforce it. And then just knot that off there. Not too tight, otherwise it's gonna be a weapon. Now I like to leave this on. I used to cut it off, but now, so it's kind of, you wanna make it nice, so it looks like a baked potato, so you know it's gonna cradle. So then what I do, you can use googly eyes, but I went ahead and made these eyes out of felt. You can use whatever eye you want. You can do one eye, whatever. And you're gonna glue, let's see, which way is it gonna go? I did such a bad job. Okay, then you're gonna use this glue and you're gonna glue the eyelash and the eye down. Did I do that right? Yeah, it just isn't a good job, that's all. Don't judge me. Okay, so you just wanna glue those on the bottom there. Do you do a lot of crafting before you go to work?
All day long.
All day long? Oh, really? Well, that's exciting. Do you do stuff for the library here in town? Do you ever?
I actually don't even live in this town.
Okay. I'm gonna get Bob over here. There's a security lady here. She's got blonde hair and she's out of uniform. Okay, so now what you're gonna do is like when you're waitressing and you've had enough, crab legs, then you're gonna go home and you're gonna rest. Oh, doesn't that feel great? Listen, it's gonna feel great. The weight of the beans are just gonna push down the bags under your eye. You have a lot of bags under your eye. Here you go. So there you go. Can everybody see it? So it looks like one eye's closed and the other eye's right open. There you go. Thank you so much. Thank you. So that's a nice pantyhose craft. Men love it. Okay. Thank you. I make them smaller sometimes. It's a great baby gift. Okay.
Okay, so now we'll move on with audience questions. Thank you to everyone who submitted questions, and hopefully we'll get to all of them.
Like they weren't edited, right?
No, we don't edit anything.
No, I'm just kidding.
That's for your publisher.
Oh, okay. All right. Dear Amy,
Dear
I'm
Amy,
5 feet, Aries. Go on.
how did you first get interested in entertaining and cooking?
This seems very dirty. How did I get interested in cooking and cleaning?
Cooking and entertaining.
Oh, entertaining. Well, my mother made 3 meals every night growing up because we had a diabetic grandmother, and then my dad was always dieting, and then there were 6 kids. So just being in that environment where she was always thinking about a menu, and then when going to school, we had something called the mini page, and they would always announce the menu for the week, and I was obsessed with combinations of food, always. And then Girl Scouts. I love everything about Girl Scouts, and I was a Girl Scout up to my senior year of high school. I still wore my uniform to school and everything. And there are 2 badges I didn't get, so I'm still hounding the Girl Scouts. Because is it too late to earn, how could it be too late to earn a badge, right?
Never too late.
I mean, I've probably done all those steps by now. Okay, we'll see.
We'll talk to our local Girl Scout troop about that.
I got a meeting on the 18th. I do.
What makes you want to help people entertain better? And do you think most people's entertaining skills need improvement?
Well, that's a good question, because the book, what I kept in mind with the book, you either entertain or you don't entertain. And if you don't entertain and you want to learn how to entertain, I don't want to be at your party. Sorry. But I think this book is really good for people who don't entertain, so they can know, they can read about how to be a better guest. Because we can't have successful parties without a successful guest. So I think if you read, like, oh my land, I mean, if you realize what we go through just to have you over for something simple, you might be like, oh, I guess I should wear shoes, or I should bring something, or, I shouldn't ask to spend the night, or drink too much. So I think I kept that in mind when I was working on the book.
What about those people who become perfectionists when throwing a party? Do you have a personal mantra to help you stay focused on your entertaining?
I just like to plan, the Girl Scout motto is be prepared. So I like to plan and be as prepared as possible so there aren't any surprises. I mean, we were talking earlier about, control. I mean, you can only control so much. I mean, once that door swings open, everything's up in the air anyway. I've dropped stuff before. I mean, all you can do is, photograph it and send everybody a picture of it the next day and make a joke out of it. But perfection that's fine. Then I think that energy's in the room, and then it just makes your guests feel a little nervous.
Well, let's talk about that party emergency.
Okay.
Nothing I cooked for my guests looks or tastes right, and they'll be here in an hour. What do I do?
Ooh, I'll throw some parsley on it. It's no big deal. Just get them drunk. Get them drunk, and it'll look fantastic. Yeah.
Okay. On your book cover, you're in a lovely 50s era dress and an apron and heels. Is that what you wear when you cook and entertain?
I do wear I'm a short person, so I like high heels a lot, which is very expensive. $1,000 can get you a decent pair of shoes. I bloat. Let me tell you about bloating. No, I do bloat. So I like to, and I eat a lot. So I like to wear stuff that's kind of has an elastic band or no waistband at all. And then I like to wear a really pretty apron to kind of pull the whole thing together. So therefore, if I have a stain on my dress or I didn't wash it, it's no big deal. The apron's going to cover it. So I think also when you open the door, you want to look like you used witchcraft, because if you open, you look like a tired, what's an animal that looks tired? Not an owl, like
Fish.
a fish. Fish look exhausted. Raccoon. I don't want to look like a raccoon when the door swings open, and then I don't want to be like, come in, and act like, it'll just make my guests seem, make them freak out a little bit. So I just try to look presentable so it looks like it was no big deal.
Okay. I like you. I don't like Jell-O. Every family gathering involves a Jell-O dish with some sort of canned fruit embedded within. Can you offer some other palatable ingredients to submerge?
Gravy. I don't know. I guess people put marshmallows in Jell-O. In that case, sometimes it could be about the mold. At least you could make it look interesting. I'm not a big Jell-O person either, but sometimes I guess you can put it in a big mixer so it looks foamy, and maybe you'll think it's something else, and then you'll realize it's Jell-O. But if you don't like it, I just keep passing by. I don't know. You just have to get over your fear of Jell-O. I don't know.
What's your favorite recipe from the book?
Oh, Chicken of the Taverns is my favorite recipe in the book. It's a Greek recipe, and it's chicken and lemon and tomatoes, and you serve it on spaghetti. So that's one of my favorites. And a brownie recipe in the book that my Aunt Joyce gave me that told me, don't ever give this recipe out. It's on page 30. And then, my other one is Greek beans. That's a really good, especially for vegetarians. That's a good recipe.
For those who go pale and sweaty at the thought of throwing a party, what's the best way to get over that fear?
I don't know if you get high, but that's one way. Pills and alcohol, basically. I don't know. I mean, it does cause a lot of anxiety for a lot of people, and I mean that sometimes can be what's so charming about it. Just don't overreach. I mean, if you really, go with what you know. I mean, don't try to be somebody that you're not. If you can't cook but you want people over, order pizza and just make something fun to drink. I mean, it really is about the people you invite and the conversation you're having. It really is about that. So.
Well, how about those theme parties? You encourage them in your book. What's your favorite theme, and what are good ones to stay away from?
Well, I don't like theme parties. I wrote about theme parties in the book just to help me, give me boundaries for each chapter. But sometimes I don't like to rely on the theme or gimmick for my party, because then I just kind of feel like then it's about that. Again, it's about who you invite. But my favorite theme now is if I need some work done in my apartment, like recently I wanted to rearrange all my artwork, so I had a small group of people come over and I fed them and made cocktails and stuff, and then the gimmick was help me rearrange the paintings on my wall. So I mean, usually that's what I like to do. Or can you help me fix this dresser, or help me clean, the top of my refrigerator? And people usually like doing it, or I usually have something crafting, that they can do, so we can still continue to talk and eat, and then they're busy. You sewing? Tonight, I swear, I almost brought, I have this sweatshirt and I need this patch sewn on it and I can't sew. And I thought I was going to ask someone to sew it while I was up here talking tonight and be like, is there anybody who could just, I mean, that'd be a fun project, right? Then I thought, Amy, grow up. You can't ask somebody that. It's in the car if anyone thinks about it later. No, but I just thought, you know, why not? People like an activity, especially when they come to my house. So the important thing is to have everything. If you're going to ask somebody to do something like that involves a toolkit, you got to have a pretty decent toolkit so they can't say, oh, Amy, I have to have a circular saw for that. It's like, no, I've got 2 circular saws, you know, and I have a sewing machine and I can't sew. So, I mean, I have everything, so they can't say no.
And what about your favorite party music? What is it?
I like music that where you don't have to rely on the words, because if everyone stops to listen to the words, then there goes your party. Like the Beatles were wasted on me. I'm never been into the Beatles for that. So I just like the kind of music that, you know, it's there, it's not dominating the room, you're not paying attention to the lyrics, it's just kind of keeping the ball up, you know, but it's not, you know, distracting.
Well, you talked about the kinds of people that you have. Mm-hmm. Who is the best kind of party guest? It can be an actual person or just a type. And is your brother David a good party guest?
David's a great party guest because he's very interested, you know, in other people. So, you know, the fun thing about David is he'll talk to everybody, and he's right there in the moment, and he's actually, you know, like I said, interested. And those are always the best people. Someone who's willing to have a conversation with someone else. If you have a group full of, you know, they all do the same thing, like they're all actors, they're all writers, then it just turns into, you know, shop talk, and that's an office party, you know.
Now, you and your brother are both funny. How do you account for that?
I think everyone in my family, except for one person, has a really good sense of humor. And I guess I don't ever think of it being funny. I guess we just we're good-natured and we like to make fun of things, you know, in a good way. Celebrate things.
Okay, you might be making fun of a party guest that's worn out their welcome. But if a party guest does wear out their welcome, what's the best way to get them to leave?
Well, you date them for 2 years. That's what you do. That's usually seriously, what happens in my situation. You don't have to leave, seriously. Yeah, you just say it's time for you to go, because you can say that to that person, because I always think that's probably a pattern. If you don't know it's time to leave, everyone else is gone except me, and I live here, and I've got my pajamas on, and you're still here, then I'm allowed to say, get out, leave. Because, come on, this has got to be a pattern, right? Yeah.
Yeah. My sister is throwing me a bridal shower in a few weeks.
Wow.
Not mine.
Oh.
I don't even have a sister. Any thoughts on adding some extra special flair to the event?
Bridals. I've
Bridal
never
showers.
had anything for bridal. No. I can't think of anything.
Moving right along. We all have different ideas of what makes a home welcoming and warm. What 3 words would you choose to describe the perfect home ambiance?
Gosh, well, a rabbit, balloons, maybe flowers. Well, one thing, you know, I do put out some kind of seasonal decoration. I mean, I'm really into the seasons, and I like, you know, decorating for Easter. I mean, not so much as I used to, because I do live alone, and it's just crazy when the people come over and they think, oh, and do you have a baby? I'm like, no, why? But I like these old kind of balloons that they make, and I always, you know, try to find them in joke shops and stuff. And sometimes I'll just have a really beautiful string of balloons hanging up in my apartment, because I like it when all the air goes out of them and they get about this big, because the colors are so beautiful, and it looks a little creepy, but it's really kind of, you know, sad, but like, and I obsess about the color scheme, like what colors, you know, I'm going to do pink here, orange, you know, and I will obsess about that string of balloons for a really long time. And they last a while, but, you know, like, you know, if I'm looking for some kind of decoration to have up all the time and I don't have anything, then I'll just put up my balloons. But I do have a rabbit, which is always fun when people come over, to have a bunny hopping around the apartment, and you know, he doesn't like a rabbit, so that's always nice. And I like, you know, fresh flowers or paper flowers.
If we were to peek in your pantry,
Pantry, that's a joke.
if you have a pantry,
Okay.
what stock items would we see that we might not find in most kitchens?
Oh, well, hay. I have a lot of hay in my apartment. 3 kinds of hay. I have Timothy hay, I have sweet meadow hay, and I have oat hay. I always have, well, you're probably in a lot of kitchens, unsalted butter and regular butter. What else do I have that, you wouldn't find in someone else's kitchen? Gosh, what would that be? Maybe a red Easter egg in your refrigerator from Greek Easter, I always have.
Well, this is a similar question.
Bacon fat?
What piece of equipment or gadget have you found to be surprisingly useful?
I like it's a bean shredder, and if you put the whole green bean in one end and then you pull it out, it becomes a French bean. And I had one when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with it. I would ask my mom, "Can I French the beans tonight? Can I French the bean?" And I still use that. I'm not a big gadget person, but I'm into that.
Never seen one.
Oh, really?
You'll bring one next
Oh,
time.
yeah, they're great.
What are the 3 most crucial rules when it comes to entertaining?
Well, again, be prepared. Be very present, meaning, be in the moment and talk to everybody. And, oh, gosh, what's the other rule I guess it would be? What would it be? Be prepared, right? You got to be prepared. What?
Have fun.
I guess. All right. Yeah, and have fun. And you got to have a Polaroid camera. That is saved, because a lot of times what I do when I entertain is, while I'm cleaning my apartment and I come across stuff I want to get rid of, then at the end of my party I put up a display table, which is my kitchen table, and I sell everything for 25 cents. Because I really like that transaction, and it's got to be a quarter. It can't be 2 dimes and a nickel or 3 nickels and a dime. It's got to be 25 cents because I got to do laundry. So I have everything from books to CDs, you name it, hairbrushes, pharmaceutical goods, like aspirins, and so everything goes. And sometimes I cater it to my audience. So if I know you're a big fan of Valley of the Dolls, the movie, and I have a DVD of it and I want to get rid of it, I know you're going to buy it. So everything must go, and people like buying it. I like seeing it leave. And so that's always a good thing to do, a good way to get rid of anything that you want to get rid of.
Now, part of writing this book and promoting this book, you went on a lot of television programs. Mm-hmm. You were on a lot of guest spots on television. Were there any hosts who just didn't get you?
Well, I didn't. It's hard for me to do really early morning TV. I don't watch TV during the day. That's like drinking during the day to me. It doesn't make any sense. So it's kind of hard to talk to somebody at, 6 a.m. That's kind of hard. And it's usually all women. Or senior citizens, which is fine, love senior citizens, and then one guy. I know that guy. That kind of guy that all the women, it's like, what are you doing here? So it's just kind of hard to click with an early morning audience. And they've got a lot of energy, and they're hopped up on coffee, and you're just like water coming out of your eyes because you're still sleeping, so that's tough.
Did you enjoy your appearance on Martha Stewart's program? It was funny.
He was nice. He was a nice guy. I've never been influenced by Martha Stewart ever. I've never seen his books. I've never seen his show. And he's asked me before to do his show, and I always said no. And so when he asked me, I was like, okay. And it was really fascinating. His audience was nice. The set was great. He had a panty line, which was hilarious. And the thing that he wanted to make for my book was the Lady Baltimore cake, which I've never made. I'm so intimidated by egg whites. So the one in the book is fake. And so, of course, that's the thing that he picked. So it was, but he was nice. He was nice.
This is sort of a general question. Where do you draw your inspiration from for everything that you do?
You mean what?
Everything.
Everything inspires me. I know that's a lame answer, but it's true. That's my problem. Is it's almost like I've been blind half my life, and then I just got my eyesight back. Every single thing inspires me, and sometimes I stay away from certain things just because I'm like, I can't be inspired by that, because then I'll steal from it, or I'll just get overexcited about it, and then my mind just won't shut off.
Back to the book. Where did you get all of the clothes and props, and did you get to keep any of it?
That was all in my apartment, so most of the props were already mine. I only bought a few things, that maybe I found at a flea market. And the clothes, I went down the street one day, this shop was closing down, and I bought all my outfits for, some of them, for $80. And then there were a couple of blouses that were my own, and all the shoes were my own. And then I have a wig collection, so that was all my hair, and so I had a hair and makeup girl come over, and then everything else was mine.
You have a section in the book on children's parties. Have you played all of the children's games you suggest in the book?
Pretty much, they're more like adult games, you know, that I've played. And I thought, oh, I'll just put this in the children's section. You know, this would be fun. And some of them I did in Girl Scouts, were the one where I was in brownies and they blindfolded us and they put us in a car and they drove us across town, and then they took the blindfold off of us and we had to get home on our own, back to the church. And I remember when I lived in North Carolina, and then they took the blindfold off me. The first license plate I saw was "Welcome to Virginia," and I was like, "Oh my God, you know, I'm in Virginia." But I think I ended up taking a bus back to the church, and so I put that in there. So some of those games I was just making up, but yeah, I play a lot of them. I used to have this 18th century wheelchair in my home, and I used to play this game where we took turns putting different people in the wheelchair and you had to take them up to the penthouse in the elevator, because it really tested your patience, because you'd get mad at the person because you were like, come on, move your leg, but you weren't allowed to move your leg because you were paralyzed, and it was hard because the wheelchair was huge and my doorway's this big, and you're like, oh, and I would get angry, and I was like, this just brings out a really bad side of you. So it's a good little, and I got so sick of that wheelchair, I wheeled to the east side and just dumped it.
Can you tell us about the Bunny Fund and what made you start selling cupcakes besides the Bunny Fund?
Well, I decided, I've always wanted a rabbit, and I was out one day with Andy Richter, actually, and I walked by a window and there was a bunny, and I was like, I'm going to buy it. I'm going to get a bunny today. It was really a quick decision. And so I brought the rabbit home, and I was like, well, if you're going to live here, young lady, you're going to have to get a job, because I am not going to have you be a freeloader. So I decided to start making cupcakes and taking them to this coffee shop in my neighborhood. And then all that money would go into a jar, and I would use that for her hay, and it'd be my allowance. And so then when she passed away, a year later, I got a new rabbit, and I was like, you are not going to be living off these funds from my last rabbit. So I started selling cheese balls. So, and I just, again, it's that Girl Scout in me where I always want a product to sell, and I just like seeing jars of money in my apartment, you know. It's just that feeling of $1, you know. It could be like a big wad, but maybe it's only $8. But I mean, I'm selling wands. I mean, it's just that transaction that I like, you know.
Speaking of cheese balls, which of the cheese ball recipes is from The Squeamish?
David and I wrote a play called The Book of Liz, where this woman's secret ingredient to the cheese balls was her sweat. And it was a traditional cheese ball, and it's in the book. I think it's called the Cluster Haven cheese ball, and it's in my book. They're just a perfect party thing to have. It's just a combination of cheeses, and you roll it in mixed nuts, and you serve it on a Ritz cracker, room temp. And now the Gourmet Garage makes them for me in New York now. I went there and taught all the cooks how to make it.
I understand Jerry Blank is based on a 1970s motivational speaker.
Right.
True or part of the joke?
I think it was more 60s. She looked like Mike Dukakis. And she was this liar, big ears, little lady, and she would go to different high schools, and she would talk about drugs and alcohol, and she was in and out of jails and everything, and Paul Dinella found the tape, and he showed it to me, and we just could not believe this woman, and you could tell she's still lying and that she never really got off any of the drugs. So I used her to inspire me for the character of Jerry Blank, in the canceled hit series Strangers with Candy. And that's my thing. Yeah.
And speaking of Strangers with Candy, did you wear your Jerry Blank teeth outside of the set?
I didn't wear any fake teeth. People always thought that I did, but it's my face. I was in makeup longer for Sex and the City than I was for Strangers with Candy. Pathetic, I know. And then I had a fatty suit on just half my body, and just a few lines under my eyes, and false eyelashes. And for the movie, I had some dental work, and I had stitches in my mouth, so when I made the face, I was pulling the stitches, and it was really hard to do that. So I always felt the movie wasn't as good as the TV show. I smelled like live bait.
How did you like working on Sex and the City? And is Sarah Jessica Parker a nice person?
Sarah's really nice. She's a very hometown girl. You know, she's a small town girl. You know, she's and what I like about Sarah is she's a neighbor of mine. So when I run out of something or I don't have anything like nut bowls, I can call Sarah and say, can you leave them out on your porch and I'll come get them, at midnight. And then there'll be like 15 nut bowls out there that, and one's just better than the next. They're just really nice. And she's generous and she's funny and yeah, she's a really good person. I'm actually going to be working on a TV show loosely based on my book, and she's going to be she and Letterman are going to produce it. So.
And can we see that coming out soon?
It'll, we're going to do the pilot, Paul Dinello and I, and then we'll see if HBO picks up more than one episode. So hopefully it'll go over.
I am actually out of questions. So can you tell us something else that you want everybody to know about your book, about yourself, about your plans?
Well, that's what I'm doing now. What else? Oh, I just did a movie with Will Ferrell, a basketball movie, and it was fun because I got to work with Woody Harrelson, and I had to play a drunk. My character's name was Drunk Lady, and all I had to do was just yell and scream at Woody Harrelson, and then he throws a basketball in my face, and the basketball is made out of foam, so it wasn't. The thing that hurt was me anticipating the ball after a while, so my neck was like, throbbing. And then I cut myself. I was doing my own stunts, and it was really hard. But I liked working with Woody Harrelson. He was a lot of fun. He's a cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs kind of a guy, but I enjoyed working with him. And then since the book and after the tour, I've just been reading a lot. Just reading, and I'm on this Sean Penn's my favorite actor, and he's actually on Stephen Colbert's show tonight. So I've just been, I can't sleep. I can't wait. And so I've been reading a book about him. So I've been obsessed with that for a while.
What's your favorite book of the last year?
Ooh, tough question. Let me see. Favorite book of the last year. God, my favorite. You know what? I don't think I've read one that's I've been like, oh my God. I mean, they've all been great. What I've read so far this year, but I haven't read anything like I really did like Jeanette Wall's book. It's Walls of Wells. The book that we were just talking about that, and I catch myself thinking about that a lot. The Reluctant Fundamentalist I just read. It was good. I tend to like very depressing books and sad books, and same with movies and TV. If it's going to be sad and depressing, I'm like, turn it up, I guess because I do like doing comedy, and I don't have the skills to do, if someone asked me to cry in a movie, I was like, I could never do that, so I'm drawn to that, or love actors who can do those moments.
Do you prefer film or television?
I prefer stage because I like a live audience, and because I know if it happens in that moment, you can't go back and change it. You do it one time. The problem with film is you do the same scene over and over again, and I hate repeating myself, or I hate, I just don't. It just takes the fun out of it for me. If you do a scene 15 times, you're just like, enough already, and then you stop trying. So if a director says you've got one chance to do this, Amy, or then I'm like, great, and then I'm focused and I'm right there. So I always prefer stage.
Do you feel that you might write another play?
If David and I don't know, he's so busy with his books, and then I kind of do my thing. So hopefully we'll do another one, but we never plan on it. It just kind of happens. But nothing's better than working with David, because especially when we grew up together and everything, and he's really funny, and you can go when you're throwing ideas back and forth, we'd spend hours exhausting something and laughing so hard where we were crying, and I've never worked with anybody like him before, and he's really dedicated, and he's a very dedicated person.
That's terrific. What else do you want to tell us?
Oh.
Your call. You can ask yourself a question.
What? Oh, yeah, he has a question. I'll try to.
Can you do your Piglet impression?
The problem with Piglet is she's foul. And I was told this is PG. I can't imagine what Piglet could say that would be. I mean, I've done Piglet as characters. I've done everyone. When you're a kid, you take tape and you tape your nose up. And David and I use her in all our plays as a tool, but she would come in and it's really swear word after swear word. And then sometimes she'd get flirtatious. But she's, read between the lines. But that's all I can't even imagine what she could say. That would be neat. But I took a sideburn once, and she used to wear a bikini, in the plays, and I would take a sideburn, I'd slap it right there in my belly. It was really good. I love doing Piglet. And that wig I made myself. I just found something backstage once at Second City, and I chopped it up, and I still have it. I just put it on, and I pull it back with a little bobby pin, and boom, Piglet. I love doing Piglet. Everyone knows one, right? Piglet.
Why do you use filthy language in your book?
Dad, do I? Well, my father, there is a section on vaginal cleansing, but that's not dirty. I mean, our bodies ourselves is right there. But I just thought there's a chapter on ladies' night, and my dad had a problem with that image. And I'm like, Dad, that is the cutest picture ever. And so I had to make a bunch of fig leaf stickers, and I gave them to my dad, and he slapped it on the vagina. But I don't have a lot of cuss words in the book. I beg to differ. You show me. I have a couple, but not too many. I think I kept it pretty clean.
Okay.
Signed by Paul?
Paul, my little brother, Paul Sedaris?
Yes.
You mean the bucket that he made? Yeah, I guess it is, but when you think about what it says and what it means, can you think of a better word? We'll talk later. I'll see you at home.
On that note.